Live from downtown Detroit, home of WDIV and Click on Detroit, Local 4 News at noon starts now.
Well, we had a pretty stellar weekend, but you'll need to keep your umbrella handy because there are a lot of rain chances this week. Brandon has a look at the timeline. Plus, President Biden set to deliver remarks as thousands are desperate to flee Afghanistan. Look at these pictures as the crisis there escalates. And the city of Detroit announcing plans to get a third coronavirus vaccine dose to the most vulnerable people as the Delta variant surges. But we begin with breaking news. Former Michigan Congressman Paul Mitchell has died after a battle with cancer. Mitchell died yesterday morning, according to a family statement provided to CNN. He served 2 terms in Congress, and he was elected as a Republican in 2017, but left the party to become an independent last year. He retired in January and quit the Republican Party over its allegiance to President Donald Trump after the 2020 election. Mitchell was just 64 years old. Our other top story, Mayor Mike Duggan making a big announcement today. The TCF Center will once again be turned into a vaccination site for people who are eligible for their 3rd dose of a COVID-19 vaccine starting tomorrow. Our Grant Herms was at that announcement, and he joins us now with the details. Grant?
Hey there. So things will look exactly the same here at TCF Center starting tomorrow as they did when you got your 1st or 2nd dose. This time around, only those people who are under these new FDA guidelines will be eligible for the 3rd dose. Starting tomorrow, the state will be giving out 3rd doses of the Pfizer and Moderna vaccines from the TCF Center, which will be transformed again into a vaccine hub. Mayor Mike Duggan today saying Detroit is going to once again take the lead in the next phase of the vaccine rollout. Those getting a 3rd dose need to have moderately to severely weakened immune systems, but will not have to show prescriptions or a doctor's note to prove their condition. Right now, Duggan says the city has about 30,000 doses of Pfizer and Moderna on hand to give out as booster doses. But in this morning's press conference, he also warned about Detroit's lagging vaccination rate, sitting now at just 42%, warning that the devastating sites from the south will likely move to Michigan in the coming weeks if vaccinations don't pick up.
And the reason is very simple. It's the unvaccinated people in this country. There is an enormous river of COVID transmission among the unvaccinated. And unfortunately, it allows for things like the Delta variant. And who knows if we get another variant, because if this keeps spreading, it's a matter of time before this virus mutates, and we're talking about a different kind of variant.
Now, one more thing about those 3rd doses. You'll get the same kind of vaccine that you got for your first 2 doses. So if you got Pfizer, you'll get Pfizer. If you got Moderna, you get Moderna rather. But you won't get Johnson & Johnson because that hasn't been approved yet for this booster dose. Now, to call and set up an appointment, you can see the number here on your screen. It's the same number you call for the first 2 doses, 313-230-0505. Back to you.
Grant, thank you very much. Also making headlines, we've just learned that Michigan Medicine has updated its visitor policy due to high patient volume, which includes COVID-19 patients. No visitors are allowed in the adult emergency department, including the waiting room, with rare exceptions. Meantime, we are expecting a new state coronavirus data update this afternoon as hospitalizations and cases continue to surge across the country. And as Sam Brock reports, all eyes are on school reopenings and vaccine mandates.
The Delta variant surge is having an impact all over the country. Certainly we see it in the national numbers, where there's been a 700% increase in COVID cases just since early July. In the state of Florida, they've registered 150,000 COVID infections in 1 week in this state alone. And now the conversation shifts to what's going to happen in schools. We've already seen battles playing out between school districts in Texas, in Oklahoma, now here in South Florida as well. Miami is the 4th largest school district in the country, and we have health officials here that are going to be meeting at some point today to talk about whether or not they are going to defy the governor, Ron DeSantis, and implement a mandatory mask mandate anyway without an opt-out for parents. One reason why there is so much attention right now, Palm Beach County, which is about 90 minutes from where I am here, has 1 week of school in the books, and already 1,000 students have been put under a stay-at-home directive because they had exposure to COVID. 200 students had contracted it, roughly 50 employees within the school system. Alarm bells right now are up. People are concerned. This conversation over what's going to happen behind these doors is ongoing. Sam Brock, NBC News.
And this just in, President Biden will return to the White House and deliver remarks on the Afghanistan evacuation this afternoon at 3:45, and we will carry that live right here on Local 4. And it comes as thousands of people are desperately trying to flee Afghanistan now that the Taliban has seized control of almost the entire country. We have just learned 7 people so far have died amid that evacuation chaos. And the U.S. military commander met face-to-face with the Taliban to seek non-interference with the airport evacuation. Richard Engel takes us to the chaos in Kabul.
Afghans are thronging to Kabul's airport, desperate to get on planes and leave the country at any cost. They're scaling the airport's wall, rushing in. There's no screening, no security checks, just force of numbers. It's all happening just a few hundred yards from the military side of Kabul airport, where the U.S. is staging an elaborate evacuation of American diplomats from the embassy. The militants took control of Kabul yesterday. Now, the Taliban are out in full force. They took over the presidential palace, occupied Kabul's version of the Oval Office. Afghanistan's president fled the country. The Taliban have set up checkpoints across the Afghan capital. The Taliban don't just control Kabul, but the whole country and all the weapons the U.S. bought for the Afghan army. The militants are much stronger now than 20 years ago when the U.S. drove them from power when they sheltered Osama bin Laden as he plotted 9/11. Now the Taliban are back as the U.S. leaves Afghanistan gripped by panic and run by extremists. The Taliban have been taking pot shots at the American planes as they leave, and many are drawing comparisons to what's happening here today to the American withdrawal from Saigon. Richard Engel, NBC News, Kabul.
Thank you, Richard. Be safe. The situation in Afghanistan is developing minute by minute, and we will stay on top of it and bring you the very latest on clickondetroit.com. A man is killed in an early morning shooting at a Southwest Detroit bar. This happened after 4 in the morning on Central near Michigan Avenue. Video shows more than 20 evidence markers in an alley behind the bar. A car's windows were shattered. 4 people were shot. A 23-year-old man was killed. Police say the bar was open after hours when that shooting occurred.
We had a situation where a fight broke out at this location. The gentleman who was roughed up left, returned, and that's when the shooting occurred.
Police say they don't have a suspect. They are looking for a truck that sped away from that scene. Also making headlines, DTE hopes to have the vast majority of their customers' power restored and very soon. At our last check, more than 40,000 customers still without juice since last week. Right now, more than 3,000 crews are in the field working on restoration. More than 98% of DTE customers have power, and we will keep you posted as we learn more. Meantime, Michigan Attorney General Dana Nessel wants energy companies to help customers who've lost power. Nessel wants DTE and also Consumers Energy to voluntarily credit customers. She also wants the utilities to set up a fund to help displaced customers during significant power outages. And we should note that DTE is offering a $25 credit to those who have gone without power for more than 120 hours. However, many believe $25 is simply not enough. All right, let's turn our attention to the weather, which was absolutely glorious over the weekend. As we take a live look through our sky cam outside, not as glorious a view there, Brandon.
Nah, just a Monday. You know, it's exactly what it is weather-wise. After a couple of really, really gorgeous days with low humidity and lots of weekend sun. We're at 73 and cloudy. We are tracking rain chances on this Monday, a northeast wind and pressure over 30 inches, keeping things a little more stable. But coming up, Jason, we'll track some of these showers, not only for today, but chances each day this week coming up.
All right, Brandon, thank you. Still to come, earthquake-damaged Haiti is bracing for a potentially dangerous situation tonight. A report from Port-au-Prince after the break.